This lesson is on trigonometric functions on the unit circle. The first example we're going to do is going to be finding secant of 150 degrees. Okay, so with secant, we know that secant is the same thing as, it's a reciprocal function for cosine. So if cosine equals x, then secant is a reciprocal, which is 1 over x. Okay, so I need to first figure out where secant, where 150 degrees is. So 180 degrees would be right here. So I know that 150 is closest to the x-axis here. So that is part of the bow tie. So I'm going to, my point will be the square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And now it's in quadrant 2, so it has to be a negative on the x value. So I have negative square root of 3 over 2 and positive 1/2. Okay, this is the x value and this is the y value. Now because we're doing secant, we're looking at the x only. So we're only looking at the x. Okay, alright, so we're going to find secant of 150 degrees, which is going to be 1 over x. Now, I know that my x value is negative square root of 3 over 2, so I'm going to write 1 divided by negative square root of 3 over 2. Here, I have to do copy dot flip, so I'm going to copy the 1, multiply, which is the dot, so multiply by the flip of the bottom fraction. So that's going to equal copy the 1 times the flip. So I'm gonna keep my negative up at the top always, so I have negative, and I'm gonna flip the fraction to be 2 divided by the square root of 3. Okay, so we can multiply across. 1 times negative 2 is going to give me negative 2, and then on the bottom I've got the square root of 3. Okay, now that would have been the answer, but we're not allowed to have a square root on the bottom, so we need to rationalize that by getting rid of the square root. Okay, so we're actually going to multiply by the radical. So we multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. Okay, we're not changing the problem because the square root of 3 over the square root of 3 is 1, so that doesn't actually change the problem. Okay, we're just trying to cancel out that radical. So if we multiply across here, these two, I've got negative 2 square roots of 3, okay, because this one was a whole number. We're not allowed, and then that goes on the outside, and then this one here was a radical, so that one stays under the bottom. So we get negative 2 square roots of 3 divided by the bottom, the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is really the square root of 9, which is just 3. So I put 3 on the bottom. So I have negative 2 square roots of 3 divided by 3, and that would be your final answer for secant of 150 degrees.